Wakio has taught his workers on how to mix the concentrates, which include maize germ, sunflower, cotton, soya, pollen, coconut cobbler, and fish meal at certain rations that are weighed carefully. All these raw materials, he says, are very nutritious and directly translates into high milk yields.
Oh yes, that's why I did that, yeah. Because the production is a window shop. More or less you work, you toil, but when you know what you're doing once you get the production, and that product is able to move to the customer, and the customer is able to appreciate the product. So there's a very big difference. When you feed it that way, there's a very big difference. One is that you know exactly what you're giving your cow. It's like when you buy from the shop. I'm not saying it's bad, but here you know you have given it the right specifications as per the vet's recommendations. So I think that's the difference. And the production, there is a difference in production when it comes when you mix and when you buy from the shop. When you do your own mixing, there's obviously the difference. Yeah, because you do it yourself.
Rations are not easy. However, it is important for you to understand how to measure their quality. The most common measures are of protein and energy. The protein is measured in crude protein units, an estimate of the total protein content of the feed. A common measure of energy is metabolizable energy units, which measures the amount of useful energy that the feed contains. The amount of calcium in the ration for milking animals is also an important measure of quality. Farmers who would like to use these measures should get information from more technical literature or seek advice from a livestock services provider. Wakio insists that most dairy concentrate suppliers in the country undercut farmers by supplying low quality feeds.
Those who are supplying the raw materials, I think if they can make it a bit quite favorable for the farmers here in Kenya, one would not have to go that far. Actually, you do your research and you'll find most of the millers, the ones who normally mix for us and everything, they get this, as you say, they get them from Tanzania and Uganda. I think the need is much, there's more food, the weather I think is more favorable in Uganda, I think. It could be something like that, that's my thinking. But if it can be, the prices can be favorable here, I think it would assist a lot of farmers because not everybody will be able to go there.
Wakio is currently producing at least 120 liters of milk per day from his 8 milking cows. He sells the milk to his neighbors in various hotel outlets around Kasarani at a tidy 60 shillings per liter. This, he says, cannot be compared to what local dairies and processors are buying milk from the farmers.
I'm actually looking much more into the future, especially with the heifers. I'm thinking of a production of at least above 200. That would be good sustenance.
Wakio is not complaining, but he says selling milk this way has its ups and downs.
Selling directly is actually much more profitable. In fact, there is one dairy cooperative here called Kasarani Dairies. They have ever asked me to be taking my milk there. But I find it, okay, then they buy, I think, at 40, because they just buy from the local farmers from Kasarani. But I prefer selling it, because the market is there, I prefer selling it directly to the consumers, because it's one thing is that you have a direct contact with the consumer, and they also offer better prices. There's also this one of, if one needs some extra milk, you will always call and say, today niongeze niko na wageni, ongeza maziwa kidogo. And there's that personal interaction, because we know their houses, they are normally people from around Kasarani, and now the hotels which are around here. It's better, I think, dealing with if the market is there. Actually, in December, we have a very, very big challenge, because you'll find that nearly all the customers, they have gone on holidays, and then you are left with your milk here. That time, what I normally do, I normally get some orders from the hotels. But you see, the hotels, they close only for the 25th. Sasa, for the 25th, especially El Fast, there is a very big challenge. What I do is sometimes I ferment it. You ferment it and now you'll sell it. Once we resume, you sell it ikiwa lala.
The role of dairy cooperative societies in dairy farmers is important, and most of them can attest that the benefits are worthwhile. Their primary objective is to market milk for the smallholder farmers, which is influenced by the proportion of milk the cooperative is able to sell locally. Farmers in turn benefit from timely payments, credit facilities for inputs, veterinary and artificial insemination services, among others. Cooperatives have also enhanced milk handling, ensuring quality of this very sensitive product. According to the director in charge of regulatory services at the Kenya Dairy Board, Philip Cherono, milk quality control cannot be emphasized enough.
For people to continue drinking milk, the milk that they are buying must be good enough. And so we urge the farmers and even the other people who come in immediately after production, those who handle the milk, those who transport, those who do the chilling and even the processing. We urge everybody in the industry to handle milk with care, because milk is a product that can be spoiled very easily. So we want the farmers to feed the animals with the right or with safe food, so as to avoid any toxins which originate from the animal feed. We also want the farmers to use the right environments for milking their cows. Milking environments must be clean. We want the farmers to use clean water, so that when the water that they are using to clean their hands and even to clean the harder or even to clean the containers that they are using must be clean, must be potable water. And then we also want them to use the right equipment, because you can produce very good milk, very clean milk, and then you put it in a container that will cause deterioration within a very short time. Like the case you find people producing very good milk, and then they pour it into like a plastic container, jerrycan, which is highly contaminated. You know, you can't clean those jerrycans the way you would clean the right equipment. So when you put milk in that container, give it even a few minutes, it is already undergoing deterioration. Even if you remove the milk, it will already have received microorganisms which are plenty in the container. Then we also want the farmers to whenever they have treated the animals, they must observe the recommended withdrawal period, so that milk will not contain drugs that the animals have been treated with. Then the milk must be moved very fast to the nearest cooling center. If we don't chill milk below between 7 and 4 degrees, that milk is going to deteriorate, and eventually either the milk is going to be spoiled and then it will be poured, or it will deteriorate to an extent that it will not be used to produce certain high-value products. And if you cannot use milk to produce high-value products, then like yogurt and so forth, then what is going to happen is that the cost or the value of milk will go down.
Wakio has faced quite a bit of challenges, which he continues to try and solve every day in his dairy farming venture.
The most common is actually the ones which is brought about by the pests, which is ECF, East Coast Fever. For that one, you control it, as I said, by zero grazing. You reduce the kind of interaction outside when the cows are moving around. There's always that risk, because there are dogs outside. There are various things that can actually now which are carriers to these parasites. So when you zero graze them, you reduce that, but that it's not 100%, because you also need to do some regular spraying to control the ticks, because that is one of the main challenge actually ECF. For mastitis, more or less it's cleanliness, and we also have this It's called it's an antifungal spray. So when you do the normal spraying for the ticks, there's also the antifungal and antibacterial spray. It's called Copacid. So that one, after every 2 weeks, it's normally very good for the cows, especially for the mastitis, because you find that most of the diseases are parasitic and viral. So once in a while we normally spray that Copacid. Is also another one called Straden from Farmer's Choice. I think I even bought one yesterday. That one is a powder, where there is unyenyevu, the milking area, unamwagilia hiyo powder. It is also antibacterial.
Other challenges common in dairy farming are poor storage facilities for dairy products, delayed payments to farmers, poor infrastructure for delivering milk, and expensive feeds and supplements. Proper feeding is key in dairy farming. Wakio rears the Frisian, which is the most common breed among smallholder farmers in the country. He rears a few bulls too, which he says act as a backup in case artificial insemination fails.
For good measure, just about a year ago, I decided to keep one bull, because sometimes you'll find the AI comes, you're paying him about 4,000 to do the AI, and sometimes it doesn't work. So the repeat you also have to pay. So if you find the cow is not doing with the AI, you give it to the bull. The bull, you know, the natural effect is always more morning. Even the vets have actually advised me on the same. So you'll find like one cow may not conceive through the AI for about 2 times. You give it to the bull.
Artificial insemination comes with its own advantages. It prevents the spread of certain diseases and sterility due to genital diseases. By regular examination of semen after collection and frequent checking on fertility, make early detection of interior males and better breeding efficiency is ensured. According to an animal genetics expert, Dr. Anthony Gishohi, it is prudent that the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries, through its extension services, ensure dairy farmers are receiving quality and improved bull semen so that they can improve their breeds to ensure high yields.
We cannot afford to just stick with what we have. We need to diversify our gene pool and also try to balance out the imports and the local production of semen so that the farmers can be able to be availed a wider variety from which now we are able to develop our gene pool and be able to provide our farmers and the country with the best bulls and with the best cattle to do their farming business so that they can have the highest incomes, and then we are going to reduce poverty, we are going to spur economic growth, and we are going to make Kenya a better country in terms of livestock production in the near future.
That's all we had time for today. We hope Wakio has encouraged you who has been wondering what to do with that undeveloped plot of land in your populated residential area. Keep it KTN Farmers TV.